Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And guys, this might be our last chance to stock up on a lot of the cryptos that we know and love before it's takeoff time. In all seriousness, there's actually two main scenarios, funny enough, and that is that the big reversal for all these cryptos is in, just period, or that crypto is going to fall hard purely based upon the stock market. Almost every single fundamental piece we've watched over the last couple of weeks is showcasing bullish signs for crypto, but kind of negative signs for the stock market. And the moment that people realize this crypto stuff is completely separate from the stock market stuff, once people start to kind of appreciate the logical inverse correlation, well, at that point, crypto might just skyrocket and leave the stock market behind. But a logical way of thinking, which I don't disagree with, is that if the stock market falls into a crazy deep recession, that Bitcoin and crypto in general are going to kind of follow that too. Now, I saw some criticism about the articles I covered recently, which showed on the short term, stocks look quite positive. A lot of criticism was that a big recession is looming. Things are really negative. Just understand that there's a lot of manipulation on short term. Right now, Thursday, Friday, all the signs were saying, hey, we're going to make this one of the most positive weeks in a very long while. It turned out to be, and they want to kind of continue on with that motion and idea because inflation is not as much as we thought. Next time around, inflation is going to be a lot lower, yada, yada, yada. There's this narrative of positive movement happening and a recession being able to be avoided. And that ultimately, obviously, would also translate over into crypto. I also, funny enough, saw this article, last chance to buy XRP below 40 cents. Here's why. I want you guys to be really clear on one thing. I am extremely bullish on a lot of different altcoins, specifically XRP. But there's actually a good batch of them, which I'll talk about in just a second. However, I'm not so sure if this is the last chance to buy below 40 cents. Again, a lot of bullish signs are there. We've all seen it. And you guys can't see it fully, but there we go. A lot of signs are there that this is just the biggest dip there is. And I've shown you guys for a couple of times by now already. We have the 1,000 moving average. We have the 2,000 daily moving average. We have the 200 weekly moving average and a couple of others of that sort. The crypto prices right now are under all of these averages, literally all of them. These are periods, historically speaking, where it's just the most logical point to buy. It really, really is. If you keep buying the moment it gets under these averages, again, following history, following our 10-year history for Bitcoin, for example, if you buy every single time it comes to these zones and continue on with that notion of buying when it's under, it's really, really, really hard to go wrong. Personal thoughts. And from that perspective, XRP is in the same predicament where a lot of these signs, a lot of these indicators are showcasing right now is a ridiculously cheap price. But again, let that be clear. If the stock market goes into a crazy recession, there's definitely some room for further downside. And that leads me to just tell people, I think, this is an honest truth, my thoughts, right? Buy altcoins that you think will survive for longer periods of time and just don't think about it too much. Don't think about it being the last chance or whatnot. Buy consecutively. If you can, buy daily. I think that's honestly the best way to go about it. Personally, I think whenever I want to get into a new altcoin, I buy a batch and then I try to layer piece by piece into it. That's over because of a lot of other parts that I always think about. One thing being what John Deaton said here. Brad Garlinghouse said 99% of the cryptos are going to zero, which leaves 200 projects out of the 20,000. I assume 99.9% though, which leaves 20 projects and tokens. But which 20? I personally think it's going to be a lot more than 20 because there's a lot more different use cases out there. I mean, just to put it into perspective, we have VeChain already, we have HBAR, we have QNT, we have XDC, we have XRP, XLM. You can kind of go on with the list. HBAR, eGold, they all look really rather good. Cardano is looking pretty juicy as well. And if they all survive in their own respect, there's a couple of others you can go ahead and think about. Or you can go a completely different route with a Theta, for example, and then maybe even a Filecoin. If you guys get my drift, there's a lot of different sectors. So I think it will be a lot more than 20. But with that idea in mind, if you just buy like XRP Army News at the bottom right there, coins that are pretty simple to understand the purpose of, you can see the company behind it or the crypto itself or the foundation or whatnot, forming the utility or the crypto being used in some sort of manner that's, again, logical to the mind. You can see the appeal of people needing to buy it or wanting to buy it for certain specific purposes, or actually, scratch that, utilize it. That just sounded like a good buy to me. And then again, when exactly or whether or not this will be the lowest point, it doesn't matter too much because, as I said before, in a couple years from now, specifically, I think next year, for example, for XRP, it'll not matter if you bought it at 32 cents, 36 cents, 41 cents, 48 cents. It'll all kind of be the same thing if the price really goes to that $12 mark, or let's say what some people think, $50, $100. At that point, 30 cents or 40 cents. Even for Bitcoin, fun fact, If you bought at $10 or bought at $100, you're extremely early. Nobody cares if you bought it. Oh, you only bought Bitcoin at $100. So, no, I bought at $7. Okay, big man, sure, okay. Like, it's like almost like bragging for almost no reason. It's like we both are early. And I kind of feel the same thing for a lot of these cryptos out here. So that's why I'm thinking like the lowest or last chance, not really feeling that too much. In regards to the price, by the way, we talked earlier about what we thought Bitcoin was going to do. I said before, right, this is the most important little zone and area to watch. And we can see we got ourselves a little bear trap earlier today, or I guess late last night. And the bear trap, what we basically showcased was, okay, the moment that we break down with confirmation, let's look for a short position all the way towards like 19.9-ish thousand. It overcame below and dipped right back in. Right now, it's facing the same resistance over and over and over again. You can see here already this little, wanted to grab my brush, this little double top right here. You can see we've already tested it twice. Here we came for the third time. It actually broke through and then came right back down again. And so right now, as it currently stands, this is our most important resistance still. We've also have it in a different chart here. We talked before about our little zone right now that we're watching for, right? Anywhere above 21.5K, we should actually start looking at long positions yet again. Anywhere below 20,000, or actually maybe potentially on the way there, if you break through some of the moving averages again, we can look for another short position. But preferably, once we cross below 20,000, we open a short until about $19,000. But again, the moment that we do breach through, which again, this was a fake out, we are looking at our first target at about 22.5 or so thousand dollars. But let us see. In regards to Ripple, they've opened their first office in Canada, which is a pretty big deal. A lot of people not understanding. This is not just a expansion simply. It's really big for, I think, three main reasons, but let's cover two. The reason number one, Ripple is expanding where a lot of other cryptocurrency companies are decreasing. Pretty big deal if you ask me. Reason number two, and this is a very important one, the U.S. is not helping them out. Even though they have a couple of big offices in the U.S., I think maybe San Francisco, maybe like Miami or something. I don't remember that, but at least one. They're expanding to Canada. And literally at the first conference there, they said, well, if the U.S. doesn't really like us with what we do with Ripple, we're moving away. Not because we want to, but we're going to. But third, and I think you guys can understand this, they're hiring 50 new engineers. I sometimes wonder, what sector are these guys going to be building in, and what are they going to build for Ripple/XRP, right? That could also just be huge on its own. All right, regarding what I said earlier, which coins you have to pick, I always tell you guys about a lot of the coins that I like, know, and love. And I talk about the fact that I don't think it's the last chance necessarily, but also, even if it was, don't see it that way. Just buy whenever you think is a good spot and try to buy in increments, just for example, daily or so with smaller percentages. What I do is I hypothesize, right? A daily income that I have. Now, honestly, I have daily income, so I can also just allocate that, and that's what I mostly do every single day. But let's say I had a monthly income, right? I just basically allocate it to 1/30th, for example, or 1/25th, whatever, pick a number, and you just kind of split that over the month. Or maybe you only want to buy, let's say, twice a week, then you just put it into 8 parts, for example, for every month, or 9 parts. And you just buy every, let's say, 6 days or so. You just buy, or every 4 days or so, buy. With Ethereum, you could have bought it, I think below $1,000, right? How much did it went to? Maybe like 900 something, maybe 970. I don't remember exactly. But now it's 1,200 something. Is it really that big a difference though? Yes, 20%. It's pretty huge, but it also kind of isn't. As we go back to $4,500 per Ethereum, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. But there's a caveat to that. Usually, this only works, and this is very important, for tokens that have some sort of appeal to go up in the short term, or that you believe in for the long term, just fundamentalized period. There's a lot of coins out there which are just really crappy. Here's one article that I just saw. Influencers intentionally loot millions from crypto community in pump and dump scam. I want you guys to make one thing really clear. Whenever I talk about tokens, I talk about a lot of them which are new, launching, for example, or sometimes even small cap tokens. But I want you guys to understand, if I'm talking about one of these coins, it is because I am putting my own money into it. It does not mean that you should do that too. I'm just explaining my story, my journey, and I'm sharing that with you all. I think the probability is there for a quick increasing price. Sometimes, for example, that doesn't mean it'll always be up. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to have the same sort of luck. It just means what I think is going to happen, and we're just going to act upon it. Is, first of all, different than a pump and dump, though. But second of all, even pump and dumps, in literal essence, can make you money. Just now, what I want you guys to do, though, is if I share a crypto, fact check me, double check me, and make sure you understand all different parts about it. Don't just go buying something because I said it. Because even though I, again, share with you guys what I'm buying. You always got to be rational in that sense, and I want you guys to be rational. So one of the coins I'm buying pretty shortly here is Open Blocks, right? I told you guys about it. I buy every single token that launches on the Byvid Launchpad, but I always explain to you guys what the rationale behind it is. Every single token that's launched on this Launchpad has done a 10x at least, I think. So maybe, I think on average it's like a 15x. And the last token that launched there a couple of days ago did a 10 or 12x. Makes me think, what is the probability of this token doing it again? Ridiculously high, so I go for it. Now, will you lose money? It's possible, hypothetically speaking, but it's worth the odds to me. That does not mean, however, that you should blindly follow me, just go ahead and go crazy, because you obviously can go wrong. But it's different, but I just wanted to let you guys in on the fact that if I'm saying something crazy, just correct me in the comment section. It is always fine. I always am I guess, happy when you guys criticize me for things that I say. I'm always looking for supportive criticism, but whenever I see this type of stuff, I sometimes think people might have taken the wrong narrative, depending on what exactly they did. Right now, I didn't read the full article. I just saw the title and was like, these guys, apparently they were, again, what's different is, let's say I make a token and I tell you guys to buy it and then I sell everything, or we go look up one token on a exchange which has no volume and then pump it up. That's a literal pump and dump. I don't ever do that. But sometimes it's like people just don't understand the risks, for example. I think in this case here, it says misinformation. Oh, this is actually really sketch. So they said the altcoin would be a huge hit, according to them. They could predict such outcomes because of secret military intelligence, allegedly, right? I haven't read everything, so I can't say that. This is actually a very sad story. I've seen a couple of things in there as well that I don't necessarily want to say out loud. So sad story, but I guess all I can say about it now is watch out for this type of stuff. On the other end, by the way, what everybody's watching for right now is a little bit of a mediocre period. We've seen a couple of really negative rules in the Netherlands, for example, regarding crypto, but in the whole EU, there's a couple of things coming up. We have the ETF, BTC ETF decisions coming up shortly as well. 29th of June and 6th of July or something like that. I put it over on Twitter. It might be the 2nd of July. Check out my Twitter if you've not seen it yet. But crypto community holds its breath as the EU finalizes regulations on proof of work and unhosted wallets this month. EU legislators are estimated to finalize regulations on proof of mining, crypto, proof of work, crypto activities, and unhosted wallets by the end of June. Such regulation will have enormous implications for the crypto industry in Europe and globally. And in the Netherlands, they already went through with this unhosted wallets part where, well, I guess if you want to send money to, your friend, you have to write down their entire freaking address and everything, their name and everything like that. Or if you just want to withdraw from an exchange, which I think is overkill, but hey, it could be a really scary thing and it's coming up shortly. But a couple of parts of it are already being put into place. And I guess I said before, it is a really scary thing for Europe. So as I said already, I'm pretty glad personally that I don't live in Europe anymore. And funny, when I said that over on Twitter, a lot of people were like, just having a non-Europe IP address doesn't make you not live in Europe. Okay. So again, conclusion of today, we've broken down for Bitcoin yet again, all right? There was a certain box that we wanted to, go past before we start to open up another long and go crazy for another couple $100. Unfortunately, though, we did not, since we did not cross the barrier. Right now, we're in a little bit of a predicament as there's another push towards 20,000 that's not too crazy for Bitcoin. If we're talking about buying, though, for the longer term, medium term, I still honestly think right now is a really good spot. I keep accumulating because we're under all these moving averages, and history has showcased to us this is a good idea to buy at these points. This might be your last chance. Is maybe a little bit overkill because if the stock market goes for a crazy push down, I'm honestly speaking from the bottom of my heart here, there's a good chance that these cryptos will become even cheaper. But again, it might be your last chance because most things are showcasing a big reversal for crypto, and the fact that we are so ridiculously low, just statistically speaking, it's just a good idea to go for it. But let us see. I've personally got a good stash of USDT and USDC still left to actually buy the dip further, because what I said to you, if you, for example, have a, let's say, $300 monthly budget, right? For everybody's different. Some people have $50,000 a month to spend on altcoin buying. Some people have $7 a month. Doesn't matter. Let's say you have $300 a month, which I think a lot of people will have, hypothetically, right? Just let's say, then for example, buy $10 worth of crypto every single day. Again, it's what I personally do. The reason I'm saying this is because you don't want to be in a situation where you buy too much and then the price dips like crazy. You always want to be able to move around. And worst case, you don't get to buy the fullest of the dip, but that's fine. It's not a big issue. One thing I should also tell you guys is that the WSOT, the Byvid Competition, is officially starting tomorrow. If you guys do not know, you should join, mostly because it's absolutely free, and there's $8 million to be won. The bigger our team, the bigger the chances we win, and the most important part is it's a percentage-based game. So it's not the person with the most amount of money will automatically win. You can actually win if you have almost no money in your account. If you can join, I highly recommend you guys to check it out. Because what if we win, right? It's going to be millions of dollars that we win, which would be crazy because it's going to be split over the team. It says right here, the top 10 in each category will get huge rewards. We just need to become 10th place or whatever in this competition. That could just be huge, guys. Think about it. But yeah, it's officially starting tomorrow, I think. And the earlier you register, because you still have about 10 days to register, but the earlier you register, you might actually get yourself a couple of pieces of loot here, which I honestly recommend you guys to just check out as well. It's huge. It's amazing. But yeah, tomorrow it is starting, and I'm going to commit fully to it, I think. But yeah, that was it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Just a quick little one explaining to you guys the situation with everything that's going on. And see you most likely later today, right? Bitcoin, XRP to Bitcoin had an interesting movement, a little breakdown, which did not get confirmation, so we did not open up a short. Right now it's kind of climbing back up this longer term, I guess, support / resistance. This is like on a weekly or something like that, which is interesting to watch as well. But that's because the price, the XP versus Bitcoin, has already done so strangely over the last couple of weeks here. Actually, last couple of days. This is the 23rd to 24th. Crazy price action, but yeah.